Where's Dave then? Oh dear.
I think this is probably the amount we're going to have. Marie gave her apology. She's out with Parkston Camera Club tonight.
Oh, right.
And obviously Dave's on holiday, isn't he? So
yeah.
So I think this is going to be our maximum number tonight.
What happened to Dave? Where's he gone to?
I'm not sure.
I think he's visiting family, Barry.
All right. Oh, he's got family down in Barnstable.
That's probably where he is. Yeah. Yeah, right. So.
Well, I've done a lot of family hard work in the last week. We went down and saw 3 grandchildren down in Torquay on the night of the last meeting, and we were there for a week. And then we came back, and the next day, 2 other grandchildren arrived from Wales, and we've had them for 3 days. So we're pretty exhausted with the grandchildren at the moment.
Yeah, crikey.
Have they worn you out, Barry?
We're glad to have the house back to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely to see them. We haven't seen them for a year. You know, it's such a long time.
It is.
Yeah, you don't realise how the time passes.
And they change. They grow up so quickly, don't they?
No, I have changed. All of them, so different.
Yeah.
One of the 14-year-old boys turned into Neanderthal man. When we last saw him, he was a sweet little boy. Now he's a big teenager with a big deep voice. Can't believe it's the same person.
Yeah. They usually just end up with a few grunts when you ask a question.
Exactly. We just grunted our way through the week with him.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of waiting for another 2 or 3 years and he'll come back to the human race again.
Yeah. He's not in the mood for being taught how to do videos then.
Oh no. Oh, no. Football or football.
Oh.
Who does he support, Barry?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Mm.
Yeah, very keen, yeah. But he only wants to watch the Chelsea games. It's rather strange as well. He doesn't want to watch anybody else. He watches Wales because they come from near Newport in Wales. But otherwise, it's got to be Chelsea morning, noon and night.
He's an addict then.
Yeah, and his dad is the same.
Oh.
So have you had your performance yet, Barry?
Yes, we have. Yeah, we
played at
the Bluebird Club opposite Haskins.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks ago now. 50 people there, all socially distanced, and it's a really good night. So we really enjoyed playing, and they all enjoyed hearing it all. It was really good.
Yeah.
Lovely to be back on the again. And I've got a concert with an orchestra at the end of July, so that's the next one to look forward to. I have to dust off my bow and my bass and do a bit of practice.
How's Jim?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Enjoying the nice weather?
I don't like hot weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. But, she keeps sending me out in the garden and it's sweltering out there.
Very hot
It's good
today.
though. We've just had a new conservatory built and it's lovely sat out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bet that's very hot.
But not too bad because it's north facing, so you don't really get any direct sun. You get sun, but it's coming over the bungalow.
Oh, that's very good.
Except in the evening, when the sun sets, in the evening it gets quite bright out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice, we're pleased with it.
I had 3 cucumber plants standing out beautifully this morning and in the conservatory, and then it got so hot. I looked at them an hour later and they'd all collapsed. completely. I had to whip them out of the conservatory. It was just so hot.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
them a good water. Give them a water, and then they'd come back to life again.
That's good.
But, oh, hot.
Yeah.
It has been hot, very, very hot.
Never mind.
So,
We're glad of it, aren't we? Really. We prefer
used
it
to-
to the rain.
we used to have one
Yeah.
at Bexhill where we came from, a very big one, and that was south facing. And by crikey, that used to get a bit warm. But
Yeah.
it's still, I love them. Me, I sit out there
It's
and
nice to have.
I like watching the birds. I've got quite a few bird things, you know, and I like to watch the birds and things.
Mm.
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 Do you have any unusual birds?
Hmm?
Do you have any unusual birds?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Well, we have sparrows and robins, but we don't have anything
I see.
unusual.
No, we
Do you
get
get any?
no, we get bog standard sparrows and pigeons.
Yeah, we get the same.
Got a lot of crows this year though, because there's a lot around where I am. There's a lot of big oak trees, and the old crows have taken root up there, and we're getting a lot of crows around. this
Crows,
year.
crows are really noisy, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they're noisy, but as soon as they appear, all the little birds clear off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but,
Hey, Bill, if you ever want to, I mean, Jim, if you ever want to shift the pigeons, I find the easiest way is you put your two hands out side by, stretch your arms out each way, and then wave them up and down as though you're flying. And they've got an inbuilt mechanism when they think it's a predator. And otherwise, I can bang on the windows and shout at them and wave at them. Nothing happens. As soon as you put your arms out and flap them up and down, they're off. Yeah. So it always works. Always works every time.
They think you're a big sparrowhawk, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can shift the pigeons and leave all the other birds, the blackbirds and the sparrows and things, and robin. They stay on the lawn because they think, oh, it's him again. But, but the pigeons have got this built-in thing, you know, and they go.
Yeah.
what I got, the most of the houses round the close here, they've all got big bird feeders and stuff, and the birds just don't know which way to go for food. And but I ain't quite happy. We get a lot of sparrows and starlings and things, you know. It, in the winter, sometimes we attract a robin and stuff. So I just love sitting watching them.
Yeah.
With a cup of tea and
Yeah, it all sounds very nice.
yeah, waste a lot of time.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. While we're all together, I've had a message from, do you remember Jack Strong?
Yes.
He's not very well at the moment. He's really quite poorly. And him and his daughter have decided that he really needs to get rid of all his equipment because it's taking up a lot of space. And he's not going to use it again. You know, he's having difficulty with it. So I've got quite a long list here of equipment, which is they're trying to get rid of. I can read out a few just to give you an idea, but there must be about 25 different items here. But he's got 3 different tripods, one really good quality Jessop's bag, various microphones, a Maginnon camera, Canon SureShot 85 zoom camera, a Sony TRV 320E camera, and a Sony digital zoom camera. Oh, and a Samsung camera. I didn't know he got all those. The thing to remember with Jack wasn't a technical person, although he was a watchmaker and a good one too, you know, and he could repair anything, and he's done all sorts of clocks. He's even been up inside Big Ben, and he produced a film about that for us to see. but he wasn't an electronics man, so he just couldn't deal with computers or anything. So all his cameras and editing equipment was really old analog hat, if you like. But one of the things he did have, he's got a small Daiwa tripod dolly. And basically, this is a tripod with wheels on the bottom. And you put lengths of rail down, or I don't know whether you can use it just on the bare floor if it's smooth enough. And then you can have these approaching shots and retreating shots and sideways reveal shots, having it mounted on the camera. If you're a little bit careful, it doesn't wobble too much. And you can get some good results with it. We've used it in the club room once or
I was going
twice.
to say we've used it in the club room, haven't we?
Yeah. So, but I like all these things. It's too much if you're going out and about on holiday. You don't want to take all that. But it's all right if you're filming a play or you've got a set up doing a little theatrical production or even a jazz band playing, Barry. So, yeah. So it's got that various battery chargers, audio mixer, color title generator. That was before computers. Yeah, storyboard editor and all sorts of odds and ends. So anybody interested, just contact me and I can send them the list. And well, maybe when Dave's back, I can get him to put it on the club website so that people can have a look. And be nice if you could coordinate it through me. Otherwise, they'll get all sorts of calls forwards. So yeah, I'll be pleased to sort of get that sorted out for you. Otherwise, they're not quite sure what they're going to do with all this equipment. As she said, that'll probably just disappear. Yeah. But it is older technology. I'll give you a warning now. Yeah. But old Jack, he could turn in a nice story, a nice film. He did one or two very pleasant ones, and he could quite smile sometimes. He was in the middle of doing one film, and he was doing this lovely narration, and the doorbell went. And right in the middle of the narration, he says, "Oh, there's the doorbell. I'll just pop off to see who it is." And he left it all in the film. He didn't take it out, but it made it a very homely sort of looking film, That was brilliant. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we ought to mention what's happening about the club. We've been to Pelham's. We did obviously an inventory to start with, but we also approached them about booking for the next season. And they are offering us quite good rates at the moment. So I think we are going to look into booking up and starting for Pelham's in September.
Yeah.
We'll have one more meeting on Zoom, which in a fortnight's time, and then obviously we're going to break up for the summer. What we would like to do is try and do an outing somewhere, or try and meet up somewhere, perhaps in July. If anybody's got any suggestions, perhaps where we could go. That's obviously presuming that the restrictions going to be lifted again, or although we can actually meet outside, can't we still?
Yeah. But there might not be a lot of chance of car sharing or anything like that. Depends on where we go. Yeah, so we'll have to travel under our own transport.
I think the thing is trying to find something in the middle.
Yeah.
So that everybody can get to it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts of where we could go from anybody at all? Is there anything over your way, Jim? Is there anything we could go over your way?
There's a couple of at Christchurch there.
Yeah.
There's one at that Bailey Bridge. I don't know what that's like. People have told me it's quite good. Or there's the Carvery. I'm just going out of Christchurch. And then a bit further up, there's that one with thatch roof.
and Fiddle.
The garage there.
Yeah, the Cat and Fiddle.
Yeah,
The
they've
Cat
just,
and Fiddle.
they've just replaced the roof.
Are
Mm.
they? Oh, that'd be photogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we'd like to do, Jim, is if possible, do a bit of filming and maybe have a bite to eat as well, or even just a drink, whatever.
Be nice.
If we have a bite to eat, it's still a case of booking. So
Yeah.
you
Oh,
have to
right.
book.
Yeah, whatever. So if it's pouring with rain, we don't do the filming.
Anyway, if people can have a think about things like that in the meantime,
Yeah.
Mm.
So we're trying.
Can I
obviously
suggest, can I suggest, Colin, that if we have any thoughts, that we focus them back through you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd all send you a message if we've got any thoughts or any places of interest that are worthwhile visiting as a club.
Yeah. Because I think it'd be nice if we could go out in July, presuming that restrictions have been lifted again. So at the moment, I think you can. Is it just you can meet inside, but it should just be two households, I think, isn't it? At the
Yeah,
moment,
it is.
a maximum of 6
I don't
people.
know how many is it when you're outside? How many can you meet?
I think you outside is fairly all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it the rule of 6 while we're inside still?
I think
I
so,
think
isn't it?
so.
Maximum of 6 from two
Something like that.
households. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's getting there, isn't it? So
yeah.
It would be good if they don't change it for the worse, when they do the update and everything later on in the month.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we could have a bit more freedom.
But I say it does look like we're hopefully going back to Pelham's. And I say we'll start. We will be making a booking as soon as we know what the situation is, starting in September. But obviously we'll keep you up to date in an email, whatever, or update you at the next meeting, whatever.
Right.
They've got the market open on tomorrow. Oh God, I can't think what it's called at the moment, but they've got that open at Pelham's, so I can go in and hope. Well, I'm going to go down and see what it's like, because we used to go to it's a country market. Right. We used to go every week when it was on. So they're using the main hall, and I'll just look out in the office and see if there's anybody there.
All right.
Okay.
And try and get an update on her to see what is actually happening now.
Thank you. Good idea.
Because I'm going to be there, so I'll try and see what I can do.
We are going to have to ask for £2 each evening to cover the room rent.
Yeah.
And we will start the subscriptions from September, which will be £5 again for the year. Hope that'll be all right with everybody. And hopefully we can arrange a good program. If there's anybody who wants to put an evening on, or has got any suggestions for evenings, let us know. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Keith would be quite prepared to put his latest film on, which I must say is very interesting. And so that's a good evening that we can see.
Well, I did phone Keith up, and he said he will be coming back in September.
That's good.
Yeah, but as far as he knows, he will be coming back in September. Yeah, because I asked him whether he wanted to come back or whether he was coming back, and he said yes, I'm hoping to come back.
He'll hopefully bring Dave with him as well.
So I didn't catch that, Barry. Sorry.
I think my microphone must be pathetic, but I said hopefully he will bring Dave back with him.
Yeah,
his friend.
Yeah.
He did say that Dave would come with him. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I think if you worked it out, if we all came with a couple of extras, it'd be about 10 of us.
Yeah.
I spoke to John Simpson in the week. Do you remember John? He lives over Blandford Way, and he's interested in coming along if we start meeting again.
Okay.
He's not
Oh.
quite so interested in going back to Wimborne. He finds us a bit more friendly.
We're a bit more relaxed, aren't we? And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I'm hoping he may join again.
Yeah, I have been included John in the emails. So try and keep him involved anyway as well.
Good. That's good, Colin. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was in touch with the Weymouth Club.
Yeah.
And I think it's the chairman or the secretary. She's just passed away, I think.
oh,
All right.
She's been there along to Anne Vincent, I think.
yes,
That's right.
and yeah,
Yeah, and she's just passed away, I'm afraid.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he still belongs to. Well, he still will go along to Weymouth, and he's quite interested in the IAC films as well. I think he's the IAC representative for Weymouth.
Yeah, I see. I think he had an article in the last IAC magazine.
Yeah, and he's also got something on his YouTube channel, which
right.
was a Weymouth awards night from about 20 years ago, which was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because they mentioned that they used to meet in a pub. In the car park of a pub, there was a building there, and the only way of getting upstairs, which is where they met, was an ordinary step ladder, an ordinary ladder. Everybody had to climb up this ladder to get through this sort of loft.
Yeah.
I remember the Bournemouth Cine Club. We visited them, and we all had to climb up the ladder. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Yeah.
Fit members only.
yes, I could say that.
Yeah, it's fit members only, and the ladies all wore trousers.
I don't blame them.
Men wore kilts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the days back in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always remember they ran the Penny Cup, didn't they, Weymouth?
Yeah.
Penny Cup, yes, that's right. I remember going to the first one, the Penny Cup, yeah, because I think some of the Bournemouth people entered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, it was all cine film in those days.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not so easy to transfer your cine film onto video, but you can do it. Have you done any, Colin?
I have, yes, yeah. But only pointing a camera,
at a screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem there is, of course, you got 16 frames a minute compared with 24 frames in the video, and about every 5 frames, the electronics does hop, skip, and a jump to catch up or wait.
Yeah, you've got to get the frame rate right, haven't you?
Yeah, you get a few little hiccups on the way, but there are, if you're prepared to spend a bit more, there are ways of linking it so the frames almost coincide, and it looks a lot steadier. Yeah, but it's quite often watchable, and it's better than not having any film a copy at all.
I know Morris Brake used to do it, and he did some film for me. Dad's old cine films, and they were okay. They were fine.
Yeah.
But he had it all kitted up, didn't he? He had the camera. Yeah. But,
it was permanently set up in a studio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was interesting what he was doing, because if you try to do it yourself, you really want the camera filming the screen in the same place as the projector lens. And as soon as you move it off to the side, you get parallax errors and all sorts of things come in. Well, Morris had the setup, and it was a 90-degree setup, and he had this special mirror, especially made for the job. And so he'd send the pictures from the projector onto this mirror, and his camera was mounted at 90 degrees to all that, and picked up the image off the reflecting angled mirror, and it worked very well.
It did work well. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right.
So if there's no more news, shall we get on with the competition? Did we ought to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or the you know, the challenge, whatever. Have Barry and Jim got films or not?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. What about Jim?
Hmm?
Have you got a film, Jim, tonight?
No, no, I haven't got one.
No, you haven't got one. That all right, then. Okay. I've got about 4, I think, or links to them. So, shall we start with ladies? Shall we do Pam first? Is that the thing to do?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or shall we do it alphabetically? Happy with ladies first?
Yeah. Why not?
So let me just find it. I know where it is. Just bear with me 1 minute. I'll put it into the chat. Chat. That should be our first one. Everybody got the link in chat?
Yeah. Got the link.
Yeah.
If everybody's got it, I'll mute everybody, and we'll. It's only just a minute film, so we'll see you in a short while.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that all right, Jim?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice little film, wasn't it?
Again, going back a bit.
That's it. Don't it? Still muted at the moment, the other people, but let's wait for them to finish. Well done, Pam.
Yeah. Thank you. With a lot of help.
Lovely to see Derek again.
I know.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful what films can do, isn't it?
It
Nice
is.
nice little idea, I thought.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Super idea.
So let's go to alphabetical next then. I've got one from Bill. Just bear with me a minute. Let me find it. And we should now have Bill's in the chat.
Right.
Cough it up then, Barry. Actually, alphabetically, Barry should have been first, shouldn't he? So, but if I do Bill's next anyway, all right?
Yeah.
So I'll just mute you. We'll see you in a minute. Nice little film, Jim.
Fun?
That was a nice
Yeah,
little
it's
film.
lovely,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very relaxing.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't see many of those, but yeah, you can sit and watch that a bit longer in a way after a hard day's work.
It's just the time for swans too, because at Abbotsbury it'll be the breeding season. All the little cygnets will be there.
Mm. Yes, I've never
That's
been there.
Oh, it's wonderful. You must go. It's fantastic. So lovely. You walk right beside them and they don't take any notice at all. All the ducks sitting on, all the swans sitting on their nests. And it's just beside the path.
Mm.
And it's really beautiful. I suppose my recollection is the swan going along and putting his signet on the back of the swan in between the two wings
Yeah,
and then sailing down the river.
Mm.
Really gorgeous.
it's lovely.
Make an effort to go this year, Pam. This week will be wonderful. May the 31st is their big day, you know, when
Is
they
it?
recognize the breeding day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So,
a
Bill, do you know
fantastic
where
day.
that was filmed?
Mottersfont,
Oh,
on the river at
on the
Mottersfont.
river. Yeah.
You know, there's a river that throws.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's at the River Test, I think, Bill.
River Test, yeah, that'd be
One
it.
of the few good chalk streams in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I filmed it some years ago now. But I thought I'd do it in a sort of black and white or sepia.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
nice effect, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm learning how to use iMovie again because
Yeah.
I'd forgotten how to do it. You know, since I had my problems. But yeah, I shall get there eventually. You know, because if you don't challenge yourself, you never
Yeah.
forward, do you?
It just
And
takes
there's-
time. That's all.
Good idea to make a start with a 1 minute film. Although, you know, it takes many hours to make a 1 minute film, but it's, you know, you encompass it all, but it's not too taxing, really.
No. I've made another one, but I'll save it for later.
Yeah, good.
It's I can't remember what. Oh, it's a poem.
Oh, right.
It's a poem about COVID.
All right.
Oh,
Very appropriate. Yeah.
So Barry,
Is it-
have you got yours?
well, I
Your
have.
thing?
I've got it on YouTube.
Is it? but it's
So
on-
I can't quite remember how to put it on. Can you remind me?
okay, so if you, it's on your own YouTube channel, is it? Yeah. So if you bring the film up,
Yeah.
you've then got a share box below it.
I know. Yeah.
If you click on that, it brings up the URL.
Right. I know that. Yeah.
So you
Then what do I do?
just need to click the copy button and then paste it into chat.
Okay. Right. So I go then. I've got to start again, haven't I? I'll have to lower this down. Go to YouTube. Go to there. Go to there. Where is it? Go to there. Go to there. Copy. Bring it up again. Right. I've copied it. Oh dear.
So then just come back to Zoom and go into chat and just paste it in the bottom, down the bottom, and then press set.
Yeah, I've
press
gone back
set.
to Zoom, and I've gone back to Zoom, and it's just got a square on the page saying with Zoom join a meeting. What do I do about that?
You should
if
just
I
be
get
able to
rid
click
of
the.
it,
You should be able to just click the Zoom thing to reopen it again. Can you not get there?
it doesn't seem to want to do that. No, I've got a picture of you on there, but I can't see how to get back to the page. I'll go down there first. Try that one. No, they want me to sign in and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it keeps coming up to a sign in page to
Oh, no,
join Zoom.
Shouldn't need to do that, Barry.
No. Well, what do you suggest? I'm a bit stuck, really.
Well, Barry, could you send a copy of that link to Colin on an email, and then Colin could put it on like he's doing the others for us?
Or to Colin's ordinary email.
Yeah.
You can email it to me.
All right, I'll do that. I'll leave the meeting.
Well, Colin, while Barry's doing that, when my competition comes up, I put the film on as normal, as I normally do, and it showed me the link. I didn't make a note of the link number because I thought I could get that back again. When I went back into it, I couldn't find out how to get it to show me the link anymore, so I did it a second time. The second time I did it, it seemed to take an awful long time processing everything, and I thought there's something going on here. I wonder what this is, and it processed it in high definition.
All right. Yeah.
I remember seeing a comment somewhere along the line. It said if you want to put it in high definition, you have to offer it up first in standard definition for checking and processing.
Yeah.
So by mistake, I got it into high definition, and it does make a difference. So it'll be a little bit improved picture when you do see it.
I'm just checking my emails. I haven't got anything from Barry yet. Barry just coming back in again. Hi, Barry. Hi, Barry. All right? All right, Barry?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done what you said. I went to, I've sent the clip to Colin's email. Have you received it?
Yeah, yeah.
You got it?
So let me just try it a minute. That should be it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I mute you again and we'll meet back again in a minute or two.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It was interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Managed to get a good narration within the 60 seconds, which
Yeah.
is not that easy.
No.
I think he's been taking a few tips off the television adverts.
Mm-hmm. I think you cover the subject quite well in those 60 seconds, really.
Such short time, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in 60 seconds, he's got us all interested in hoping to go sometime. Because we'd all like to see it now. Yeah.
Barry and Bill are still muted at the moment. So I don't know whether... Yeah, I wasn't sure whether you'd finished, not Barry.
No, I was saying it's all completely free sculpture park. And the nice thing about it is that children can climb all over them because they're either made of granite or bronze. And so everyone can enjoy them and, for eternity. All by the council. Whoopee.
I think you covered
Can't see Bournemouth doing that.
I think you covered the subject in those 60 seconds very well.
Very good.
Thank you.
How do you get there, Barry?
Well, we went on a coach tour of Scandinavian capitals.
Right.
And we went to where did we go? Copenhagen, Oslo, and somewhere Helsinki. Yeah, fantastic. And that was just one of the highlights of it.
Mm. Very interesting. Mm. Next one I think we'll show is obviously alphabetically it'd be Max's. Now I've got Max's link somewhere here, just bear with me. Actually go to history. So this should
It's
be
called-
Max's one.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
called The Ride of Your Life.
So again, we'll meet in about 2 minutes time or so.
Okay.
If somebody was saying they're not doing the Steam Fair this year.
Aren't they?
No, they
Really
didn't do it
shame.
last. They didn't do it last year either. Trouble is, it takes about a whole year to plan,
Yeah.
and I suppose if they haven't done the earlier planning, it gives them a problem.
Mm.
No, great little film, Max.
Mm.
Whose film was that, Colin?
Sorry?
Whose film was that?
That was Max's.
Max's.
Mm.
That woke me up. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, it's good. Very good. Mm. I loved your transition at the beginning.
Oh yeah, well, there was a few little whizzy bits there, and actually the film that I made, it come out to about sort of 54 seconds, I think. But you've got to take the titles off and take the ending off, and
Okay.
So I
yeah.
think we've got one more entry, which is Dave's. I know I haven't done the right alphabetical order, have I actually? But doesn't matter, I don't think particularly.
Weird.
My alphabet's falling down a bit.
I think it's a Greek alphabet you're using.
Mm. So, got this one. Let's get that ready. So that one should be Dave's.
Right.
So again, I'll mute you and we'll see you in about 2 minutes' time. Another nice little film.
Very good.
Of course, we can't ask Dave where it was, but I know they used to do it at Southampton, I think, in Bristol. I think there's quite a few balloon flights at times.
Yeah, they did an interesting one. It was at Leeds Castle in Kent, and there's a big moat round that one, and they used to call it Balloons and Bentleys. And you could book a ride on the balloons, and they all lifted off to do in the afternoon. And if the wind was right, they would lift off, and as they drifted along, they would dip down and just dip the bottom of the basket in the water, in the moat, and then go up and away. And then the Bentley used to chase after them with a big picnic hamper on the back, with a nice snack and all the bottles of champagne in the cooler. So when you landed, you had the champagne party and then returned back to Leeds Castle. That was a few years ago.
Well, that's our entries for tonight.
Well,
Bit of a mixture, really.
Yeah, certainly different.
Yeah.
Definitely
All
different.
different.
So do we want to vote on them? And
Well, it's going to be difficult to judge, really, isn't it? Because they're all so different, but they're all interesting. And how are we going to judge, Colin? Because are we going to judge on the technical merit, or are we going to judge just on the entertainment value? Because we tend to get a bit mixed up between the two sometimes.
I think
for this one, we might just as well do it on entertainment value. You know, how did we enjoy our minute?
Well, that is really part of it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, normally, but it should be a fifth part of it. But my experience is that people tend to make it sort of 4/5 of it is entertainment and the rest is technical merit.
Well, I think it's important that a film does entertain you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Or entertain or educate you. In the case of berries, you know, it's something we've learned tonight.
That's right. I mean, my feeling is just for this one, it's all a bit of fun. and we should look at it just from entertainment value. How
Okay.
did we really enjoy the minutes entertainment?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm.
They don't have to be judged. They're all enjoyable in their own
I
right.
was just going to say they don't have to be judged, do they? Everybody
No.
made the effort to get them onto the YouTube and to make them, and I've enjoyed them all.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
that's really more important, isn't
Mm.
it? That we've enjoyed them all.
yeah, yeah. And we went
So
when you think of it, we went from the calming to the frantic, and all stages in between.
mm, mm, mm. So can you say anything about your filming, Max? Then did you have a problem with night filming, or?
Well, I had been the year before, and I'd come against various problems with filming. The main thing is, and that was the Steam Fair and the Great Dorset one. And I found that you get such a huge amount of changes in lighting value. I mean, your eye just picks it all up, and your brain and eye says it's all the same lighting level. But I found the different colours and the amount of illumination you got from some of the rides, whether they were light bulbs or LEDs and that, they kept changing all the time. So I found that I had to do the exposure was manual in every shot. I had to keep changing not all evening long. I mean, I've got enough film there for about probably 25 minutes altogether, and but it's changing all the while for all the different types of shot. But I using the screen or the eyepiece, and I use the exposure to give me the best colour, because if you increase the exposure just a little bit, you tend to wash the colours out, and it doesn't look so good. If you make it too dark, of course, you can't see some of the details. So you don't have a lot of leeway, but you can work pretty quickly. But then I found that sometimes I needed to refocus, and I know you can use the setting. You can just dib another button and just flick from one feature to another feature quite quickly, so you can manually control focus as well. But I found in the dark and not wanting to miss anything, I didn't have the time to sort of work that out. So I just went around hoping that automatic focus would do most of it. And just now and again, once or twice through the evening, I tweaked it for manual focus as well. But most of it was autofocus. And I thought I did take some pictures because I went in the evening. You can get an evening ticket after 4 o'clock, I think it is, or 5 o'clock. And so you can film some in daylight, but I wanted to get I did a lot of the steam engines and things, but I thought, well, the fairground is so good, you didn't want to miss it. And you can pick up lots of different things with that. And yeah, just picking out a few of the more interesting shots just to make the film for tonight. But you see all sorts of things which you don't expect. I mean, the numbers of people walking around with their dogs at night, and you'd think it would be just too much with all that going on, all the racket and steam engines and whistles tooting. But the dogs were quite good natured, and they were quite, I think they're quite used to it. I think they're steam trained actually. but many of them have got illuminated harnesses on. And they're all flashing lights and collars and coats over their back and that, and it was interesting taking pictures of those. But they would come so quickly out the crowd and disappear again that you've got to be pretty quick with your camera to catch them.
Did you do much in post, Max?
Did I do
afterwards? Did you do much in the editing to change the colours or anything?
No, that's just as it was filmed. I didn't. Right. The only thing I did was one of the shots wasn't quite long enough. So I went in and just slowed the shot down a bit. You can't tell that it's slow, but I know it's slow. But it meets the beat on the music. So if you lost a bit of about 3 seconds short on the footage. So I just slowed it down and gained another 3 seconds then.
Oh, well done.
But otherwise, that was all I did. But it was a bit of fun. It was, yeah. Well, I've listened to that music on and off for quite some time, and probably had it for about 12 years. And I've been wanting to use it, but I could never find it fitted anything. But I thought, I know what it will fit, and surely people would put up with it for 60 seconds.
Yeah, great.
That is two pieces of music, and it's very difficult to see whether I stopped the first piece and started the second piece, because it sounds as though it's all one piece. But that was interesting in itself, joining the soundtrack. And the other bit, I spent, I think, a couple of evenings getting the titles done with all the fancy whizzes on the titles. But you go through all the different wipes and fades and see which one works the best. And I had lots of near misses, but I liked that one the best.
Yeah, great.
Very good.
It was very good. Very good.
Yeah. So that 1 minute took about a week. But what you don't know behind the scenes, something, when I loaded the footage, the raw footage, there was something in one of the shots. I don't know what it was or which piece it was, but it slowed the computer right down. So when I was trying to edit, every time I tried to shrink the length of a shot or do anything, it would want to go all the way through the film again that I got, because I got about 25 minutes worth of clips, which I wanted to shrink down and cut chops off. But it was taking about 5 minutes. Every little move I made with the mouse took about 5 minutes. And sometimes it just seemed to go on forever. So I had to go right out of Pinnacle and come right back in again and wait for it to all load up again, which was another 5 minutes anyway. So I think there was one stage where I must have taken all evening to do about 30 seconds. And I thought, this is just not on. I just nearly got fed up with it. But then I started dumping all the stuff that I'd clipped off that I didn't really want. And suddenly it just speeded up. And then it was back to normal again. But in addition to that, the second piece of music I put on, the first piece went on fine because I used CDs and I put in add music track on Pinnacle. So it's nice and easy. And I put the second CD in, and when I clicked add music track, the whole computer threw a wobbly and it froze and nothing would move and everything. It even the computer wouldn't even let me get the CD out either, because I thought I'll take it out and clean it or put another CD in to see if it was just that CD that caused the problem. And I think what had happened is that it was doing an update, and it got to a very critical stage where it was working very hard on the update. And when I tried to put this little music track on, the whole computer threw a wobbly. And that took me half an hour to sort out. And eventually, by putting the little trick with a paper clip, trying to get your CDs out, there's a little hole. So I had to do that a few times to extract the CDs. But anyway, by process of elimination and speeding the computer up a little bit by chopping a few pieces off and discarding them, it come back to normal. And now it's just as good as it ever was. And I thought, all this trouble just for a 1 minute film.
It was good, worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah. You've got to persevere sometimes. But I suppose we all run into these queries and problems when we're editing our films, but we just accept it as part of the excitement of the hobby.
Yeah. If it was easy, it wouldn't be interesting, would it?
Yeah, that's right.
So, Bill, your sepia, was that done in the camera or in editing?
No, that was done in editing.
Editing, yeah. Nice effect to that, I think. Very fitting.
Yeah, I tried various, things, but I thought, I'm going to try a bit of faded black and white. Now I'm getting a bit faded myself.
So Pam,
Yes.
your film, we actually took off of a DVD, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes. But again, that was another film with all the little bits in it that took hours to keep chopping all the little bits we wanted to go into the film. We had the idea,
Mm.
We didn't know it was going to take so long to chop all the bits in, and
No.
so they all married in. Yeah, but yes, we did. We put it on? Colin helped me, and he came round, and the trouble was the CD had 7 other films on it. So, but we did it. We did it.
Mm. That was
But
a
it was, pardon?
lot of perseverance there, Pam,
Oh yes.
to get the result. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's surprising. It doesn't look much, all those little tiny shots, especially towards the end when they flick on and off.
Mm.
It's surprising how many films we went through to get those shots.
Yes.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Because that was, although we used to go to Mallorca every year for a holiday, and that was more than 1 year. We sort of looked in different years to see the shots we wanted. Yeah, but
Mm.
it was worth it. It was a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Went well with the music. And thanks to Colin, I managed to, well, he put it onto the YouTube for me.
Mm.
We have got quite a few old club films on YouTube now.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to have a look through it, because when we went to Pelhams, we actually got a hard drive out, and we transferred some of the films from the hard drive onto YouTube. So I think it's nice I'm sure there's some nice memories for some of the club members there.
Actually, to be honest with you, when I think about it, I did think about it. I think Max and myself are 2 of the going right back to when we started to do, especially in Pelhams.
Yeah. Mm.
And then gradually more came in. But when I was going through to put names down, because Colin was wanting some names to make it more interesting so you could see who was on the film.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was going through, I was thinking, good gracious, they're not with us. They're not with us. It's quite scary.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
just out of interest, while we're talking about this and films on YouTube, when we started off, we said in the earlier days of the club, you could tick a little box on your competition entry if you wanted the film to be distributed more widely or sent to other clubs.
Sent to other clubs, yeah.
And again, it was just other clubs. But we've transposed things a bit. We moved on, and now it goes on YouTube, and anybody can trawl around and look at that. And I had a bit of a shock a couple of days ago because I was on YouTube, and I didn't think I'd gone onto the Bournemouth website, but I was on YouTube, and suddenly there was one of our past members, bold as brass, come up on the screen, and I thought, hello, what's he doing on there? What's going on? And it started giving me a lot of films of all the Bournemouth club going in the past history. So your features and your facial recognition and that can suddenly appear anywhere now because it could happen. And I can remember. Do you remember Carol?
Yeah.
None of us seemed to worry too much about our features being on the screen, but Carol was on the screen once, and one of her past friends, who she didn't want to talk to anymore, saw it and started pestering because he suddenly decided that, yes, that's Carol, and that's on the Bournemouth Video Club, and looked up the Bournemouth Video Club and graduated and found out a lot about her. So there is more of a risk. Now, it doesn't worry me, and I don't think it worries any of the other members of the club at the moment, but it did surprise me that that is a risk we should consider and consider people's opinions if they don't want to appear.
And Colin was saying too that you can't, once the films are on, you can't take them off.
I can't, but Dave would be able to.
Would he?
As editors, we can put films on, but we can't. It's the way it's been set up. Obviously, because Dave set the YouTube up, it's only Dave who can actually delete them.
Yeah, so he's like an authorised editor, really.
So if you did have a film on and you wanted it taken off, then Dave could take it off.
Yeah.
You can
Anyway, it was just a thought that these things can happen, and I was surprised to see one of the past members suddenly looming up, and I thought, "Ow, how did he get on YouTube?"
Yeah.
The first thing would be to perhaps change it from public to unlisted or private. Then people can't just look at them without your permission.
Yeah, I mean,
if you were concerned about a film,
it wouldn't. Well, it doesn't concern me much anyway. But if it's within the club or any of the video clubs, to me, it really doesn't matter at all. But when I was just looking at YouTube and it just suddenly jumped out from nowhere in amongst all, pictures of funny cats and all this sort of stuff that goes on, and people driving badly. And it just suddenly appeared there, and I thought, "Oh, what's going on? How did it make the jump?" But it did. Just a little bit of food for thought, and so long as we know, and the opportunity is there for somebody to object if they want to. Okay.
So Barry, what I wanted to ask you was your 60-second documentary. Well, your 60-second advert for the theme park. How long would it take you to go round it?
Well, as long as you like, really. It's an all-day job. You could wander about, and look at all the different things.
We obviously had 60 seconds of it, but I presume that was just a taster of what's there, really.
Yeah. It's a day out. You can go wander around, see the statues. There's I just showed one of the gates. There's about 20 different gates all the way around with all different wonderful pictures on them. It's really a fantastic place, and just available for anybody to go and see whenever they like. That's the nice thing about it. All free to go and look at. I suppose the nearest thing we've got is the Portland sculptures. Have you been to see those?
No, I've not seen them.
On Portland itself, if you go up the, you go across the causeway, you go up the zigzag to get up to the top.
They're all along too, aren't they?
Yeah, on the left-hand side, there's the hotel. And on the right-hand side, there's a little entrance, a little roadway, and that leads into a little quarry, which is full of sculptures that people have made from the rocks of Portland. And that's all free as well. That's very interesting too.
And that's not so far to go. That's not so far to go, is it?
No, you're right.
I have a feeling, Barry.
You don't have to have quarantine on the way back.
No.
Quarantine. Yeah. I have a feeling, Barry, that quarry is at the back end of it. There's the entrance to what they call it's working mine, but it's not a quarry. There are the two people that do Portland stone removal there. One does open cast quarrying as normal, and the other one they burrow into the ground to do it, and they split the stones off using balloons. And you think, hello, how do they use a balloon to do that? Well, what they do is they've got like a cave entrance, and they got this big slitting saw, and they put a saw cut through into the rock with these hardened teeth. And then the balloon is not a balloon as we know it, but it's like two sheets of metal, substantial thickness, really, in a way, welded all round with a hydraulic inlet point. And they just slide this blade, if you like, this balloon blade, they just slide it when it's flat in this slot. And then they just put high pressure water in there. And as the balloon expands, it just cracks the rock and it just drops off. And there's no explosions. It's all done quite silently. And apparently there's a big town there in the middle of Portland. I forget what they call it now. And all these caves are buried all underneath there. and it's all supported on these just pillars of rock inside. I don't know. I suppose the locals know that, but you know, when you hear about it, you think, well, that sounds dodgy, because you're just up there thinking you're on solid ground, and you're standing on all your properties on little pillars of rock underground.
Yeah, they don't like rabbits on Portland.
That's true. Yeah.
When they showed that film, The Curse of the Weir Rabbit, they had to call it The Curse of the Weir Creature.
That is because the rabbits were getting in and undermining some of the rock structures. So we're taking some of the soil away, and they were getting collapses and things.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know, over the 2,000 years since the rabbits have been there, I think the Romans brought them. And yeah, I mean, I worked with a chap from Portland, and people used to try and tease him sometimes. And one day somebody went past and said something about rabbits. And I tell you what, this chap threw a wobbly. He nearly had a real ding dong fight there in the middle of the workshop. Yeah. Yeah, he said, "Don't you ever say rabbits near me."
Amazing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to leave you all now, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll say
Okay.
good night, and very enjoyable evening. Enjoyed all the films.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, Pam. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all right. Bye for
Bye.
now, everyone. Bye.
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 Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
I think that big town you were talking about on Portland was probably Easton.
That's it. I think it was Easton. Yeah. 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 And you were saying earlier on about the Weymouth Video Club. When I knew them, their meeting place was the old Wellworthy Sports Club. I don't know if you know that, Bill, but it was up on a hill. As you go down towards the little bridge on the approach to Portland, you come out of Weymouth and you go down the hill and across the little water bridge. Well, just before you get to the bridge, there's a road that goes up to. It's almost like a cliff top, because if you come the other way to this sports centre, you don't realise you're up a height, and you park your car and you go in, and you know, it just feels quite normal. But when we came out after watching one of the Penny Cup competitions, one of the more recent ones, it was night time and it was dark, and it took your breath away, the sight with all these twinkly lights all around the harbour and across on the naval area. It was absolutely amazing, and I thought, wow, I've got to come back here and try and get some photos.
Yeah.
And spend some time, because I didn't believe it was anywhere as nice as that in England after dark. It was
I
good.
can't remember where it was, I'm sure, when I was there.
Well, as you
down in the town, but
well, just as you went across this water bridge onto towards as you're going towards that isthmus of land to Portland, there was Wellworthy's and the submarine thingy bob. That was all on the left. No, it was Wellworthy's. Sorry, it was Wellworthy's piston ring place. But I think they took over one of the underwater establishments. But I think Wellworthy's made some of the piston rings.
It was probably Bincleaves.
Yeah, in the older days. Yeah, and then right up on the top, above where the works was this. Social club.
The what?
The social club. The sports and social club. Yeah. Yeah.
When I went there, I'm sure it was part of the Echo building at one stage.
Yeah.
But that was more in the town, I think. You know, but down by the quay.
I'm sure when I belonged to it, that was early to mid 70s. It was down in the town, but can't remember where.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking after the year 2000. They probably moved the venue.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm probably talking about mid to late 80s, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
I moved from there in 76, so.
And an interesting trip to Portland is to go to the jail. If you go across on the causeway and you take the left-hand turn when you get across the other side, you can go up the hill through the houses and into the jail, and there's a big cafeteria and restaurant looking over Portsmouth, Weymouth Harbour. You're inside the jail and you're served by some of the prisoners.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm. You only get bread and water. No, you don't. No.
But they let you out, Barry.
Well, I was there for some time.
They didn't offer
it's quite interesting to see it, because you do physically go through the big archway into the jail itself, and then there's a sign saying to the cafe, you park your car and go into the cafe.
Yeah,
And then you have this lovely view back over Weymouth Harbour.
yeah. They didn't offer to do a clothes swap with you then, Barry?
No, I wasn't wearing my arrows at the time. No.
And just as you get onto the Portland side of that strip of land, if you look on the sharp left, there's a small fort there. I think it's one of Henry VIII's. Well, there was St. Ports all the way along the south coast, but this is an extra fort they put there to protect the Weymouth Harbour, and that's quite interesting. I don't know who runs that now, but it's there's a nice little car park to the side. And you get a nice little tour around there, and there's a lovely cafe restaurant in there, and that's just on the approach.
On the ground level, it's not high.
Yeah, it's on ground level. Yeah,
I've seen it from the outside.
Right down by the water. In fact, it's right near where the helicopters used to take off. Because it's near there was the big tarmac area where the landing strip was.
Mm.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew.
Right.
Prince Andrew used to fly his helicopters there.
Yeah.
When people spoke to him, that was.
Yeah. And then a bit further on, between there and Abbotsbury, you see Hardy's monument on the hill. And some people say it's Hardy the Admiral or Hardy the Writer, but it is one or the other, but I can't remember which one it is. I think
it's Admiral Hardy of
yeah,
of Kiss Me Hardy fame that
right.
had to kiss Nelson.
Yeah. Now one Sunday morning we went down there and we made for that monument, and it was a crystal clear day. There was a bit of a keen wind, and if you stood there looking into the wind, it made your eyes water. But anyway, we got out the car and we were surprised just how much we could see. So I've got a decent pair of binoculars, and I thought, well, if I look westwards, what can I see westwards? And you could see right along the Dorset coast, then you could see right past Ladram Bay, you could see right round to Torquay. And I know from the geology that where you get the cliffs at Brixham, just behind Brixham, there is what they call the 600-foot level, and it looks as though the cliff top has just been raised off with a plane, and that is at 600 foot. And you could see that quite clearly from Hardy's monument.
Wow.
Looking this way, look fairly close with the binoculars, you could see the atomic establishment near Wool, but then you could see the water tower at Tower Park. Then I could see the church tower here by the university, St Mark's Church. You could see the tower. Looking through, I could even make out there's two trees. There's a big oak tree and a fir tree near the end of my garden, and the house opposite. And I could see those trees. And I thought, crikey, that's some guy. Then looking, you could see right across the New Forest, and you could see the smoke coming up from Fawley Refinery. And beyond Fawley Refinery, you could see a blue smudge in the distance, a dark blue smudge, which I took to be around Chichester way. If you draw a line. So I thought, crikey, from that point on a clear day, you could see from Chichester right round to Brixham. Well, that took my breath away to think I could see that distance.
Mm.
Yeah. I've never found a clear enough day since. You get a few fairly clear days, but that day was something special.
Mm. Funny you should mention Ladram Bay. We're going to have a stay there in a couple of weeks' time for a caravan holiday.
Oh, very nice.
A friend of ours, friend of my daughter's, owns a caravan there, and so she's letting us have it for 4 days, so we can go and visit places like Beer and Branksome and Sidmouth. They're all lots of lovely places in that area, but staying at Ladram Bay.
Yeah. I nearly come to my end at Ladram Bay once. There was a sea mist coming in, and it was a bit humid, and I'd got a strong dose of hay fever on the go at the time, and I discovered that when I got this hay fever, and your nose was going and the eyes were running and so on, the best if I could have a little bite to eat, a slice of bread or a bun or something like that, and then go for a bit of a jog, a bit of a run, get some exercise, and that used to seem to clear the system. I don't know why, but I found it nearly always helped me. Well, that day I parked the car in a car park, and I was up on the top there on the cliff toppy bits, and I was jogging along, and I thought, well, so long as I keep to these footpaths, the sandy footpaths with grass either side, I thought if I keep on the broad footpaths, I should be pretty safe, So I was jogging along, and suddenly you get this sixth sense, and your whole body bristles, and I just stopped, and I thought, I wonder why do I feel like that? And I took a few steps further, and this broad path went to a viewpoint, no fence or anything, and there was a sheer drop straight down to the beach, and I would have run straight off into that in the mist. Didn't know where the sea was, and it was just that sixth sense that wore me.
Wow.
So I'm very careful about jogging around on cliff tops now. Yeah.
What is that village behind you, Barry? You've got a village behind you on the cliff. Where is that?
Here, on today, it's Whitby.
Right.
In Yorkshire.
Oh, Whitby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Whitby?
You can see the Abbey up there.
Yeah, that's Whitby Abbey.
Up there is the Abbey, the Gothic Abbey.
That's where Dracula lives, isn't it?
Where Dracula was supposed to take place.
Yeah.
Dracula. It's very creepy now.
Yeah.
I can see your hair blowing around.
Yeah, I know.
Did you walk up all those steps, Barry?
Fun?
Did you walk up all those steps to it? There's a narrow pathway.
We approached Whitby from the top, so we were already up there.
Oh, right. Yeah, you did it the easy way.
They do have these big Gothic weekends there, where everybody dresses up in these dark Gothic clothes and celebrates. What's his name?
Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker, he's the one. Yeah, it's still very creepy because, as you can see, it's got no roof on it. It's just the ruins of the church, the abbey.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very creepy. I imagine at night it would be really ready for the what was it? The bloodsuckers, the vampires.
Yeah.
Nasty. It would be nasty. You been there, Bill?
Yeah, I went there. I don't think I could climb those steps now.
No, they're a bit of a so-and-so to get up those, and it seems to go on a long time as well to get up there.
Yeah.
You can manage the fish and chips, though.
Good fish and chips.
You manage the fish and chips,
Yeah.
There's 20 fish and chip shops in Whitby.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's famous for them,
No, I only went there for the day, but you could spend longer there, I guess.
Yes, you can,
Yeah.
Behind me are two teeth or ribs of a whale that were brought back by Captain Cook because he comes from Whitby.
Ah, right.
Just a bit of knowledge to throw in.
That would be a good film, Barry.
Wouldn't it?
Mm.
Sail to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Mhm.
Yeah, don't they have a special stone there called Whitby Jet or something that Queen Victoria liked?
I think they may, yes.
A lot
Yes,
of
it's a black semi gemstone,
yeah.
and you can tell whether it's Whitby Jet. I don't suggest you do this with your necklace or your whatever, but if you apply a light to it, it will burn like coal.
Oh,
And it is like a fossilized wood, but it's so hard and so black, and it carves well. And surprisingly enough, they found evidence of this Whitby Jet right round in ancient Egypt.
oh.
So there were trading was going on before the Romans come.
Mhm.
So that was quite something.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you go down to there's a cove along here, not far from Lulworth, begins with K.
Kimmeridge.
Kimmeridge, yeah. If you go to
Kimmeridge.
Kimmeridge, the beach is a bit of a sort of curve, sort of semicircular shape. And there's one stage around there where they used to have a glass kiln in the Middle Ages. And they used to do their own local glass. And apparently, the story goes that this upset the glassmakers in London. And of course, they thought they were taking some of their trade. So the London glassmakers, when you think before public transport, they got all the way from London down to Kimmeridge, and they set about wrecking this glassworks. Yeah, smashing it all up. And when you look into there's a little bit of a low cliff there, about 4 foot high or so. But if you look in there, you can see all this where you're making the glass, you get the contaminated glass, and it's all skimmed off as like a sort of crust and so on. And there's all evidence of all these burnt bits of sand and glass and all sorts of stuff there. And you can still find it from those days. And again at Kimmeridge, it's part of the same piece of geology with the Kimmeridge clay swings round in a big circle, semicircle, and it actually comes out at Whitby, funny enough. And at Kimmeridge, you can find some. It looks like Whitby Jet, but it's not quite so hard. But to all intents and purposes, it's like Whitby Jet. And again, you can pick that up off the beach and so on, and you can set light to it. It looks like stone. It feels like stone, but it will burn. And then and you see the nodding donkeys on the hillside.
The nodding donkey is still there. Yeah, still working, still bringing up oil. It's amazing, isn't it?
And I work with people that as children, they used to go down on the hillsides there at Kimmeridge, and they had all the little railway tracks for the quarries and things. And they used to get these trucks and wagons and things, and they used to sort of go careering down like Dodgems or Indiana Jones, going down on these little wagon things. And you can see dotted about on the hillside, you can see rusting frames of these old wagons and the odd wheel or so. Where I don't think there's any of the rail left, but the other debris is still about. So there are traces of history around.
It's one of our favourite pubs to go to for a meal, also in Kimmeridge.
Yeah.
Clavel's it's called, after the Clavel's Tower.
Oh yeah.
And the meal is fantastic there. The food is absolutely marvellous. Not very expensive, but really good quality.
That sounds good. Yeah.
We read about it by there was an article in the Dorset magazine by, I forget her name now, the mother of Amelia Fox. And when we went to the pub, there were the Fox family there.
Playing up again.
Who? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. We went to the pub, and the Edward Fox was there. You know, the chap who did the Day of the Jackal.
Yeah.
And Amelia was there in her scruffy clothes, because she used to work as a waitress in that pub.
Oh,
And the Fox family have got a house just round the corner from the pub.
Oh.
well, I know.
They're regulars. Yeah. He got the terribly deep voice, Edward
Yeah.
Fox. Really distinctive. And he brought his dog in, and the dog laid down beside us at the pub, and he said, "Oh, don't mind the dog." He said, "If he makes a noise, just give him a good kick." It was really, really nice and friendly. Really nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
well,
lost you
learned
for a
lot,
minute, Jim.
right?
You disappeared for a minute, Jim. Can you hear us, Jim?
Is it getting Jim's time? Jim seems to have quite a rigid time limit.
He's back again.
Oh, but I'm here.
Oh,
You
there you are.
disappeared for a few minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No.
You haven't been hacked, have you? Like the internet the other day.
Oh, I just don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Started playing some music and then just
Oh,
disappeared.
Yeah.
Just before I go, can I make a suggestion, Colin?
Yeah.
When we start back at the Pelham, is there any chance of having a brainstorming session on this transferring onto YouTube?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, you've got some experts like Dave and yourself, and whereas I'm just fiddling around in the dark. It's all gobbledygook to me.
Well, it's not very difficult. I struggle with the technical sides of it, but it was reasonably easy to put your films onto YouTube. We can explain it all to you.
Yeah. Are you volunteering to do the talk, Barry? Is that a tech talk coming up?
Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Anyway, you found all of our equipment, Colin, have you, back at Pelham's?
Sorry? You found all our equipment?
All our equipment is still there.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Very happy that, everything's there. Yeah.
And somebody's working in the office again.
Say again, Barry, sorry.
Is somebody working in the office?
Well, there's a different lady now who's the chairperson of the Pelham's Community Centre. She lives quite locally to there, just across the road. That's who we met. It's not obviously the person we dealt with before. So I don't know. Pam was saying that the other lady's taken all the hard drive out. So whether they parted in bad terms, I don't know. But this is who we're dealing with now. She's the chair. She's the chair of the organisation. So.
Oh, good.
Start
at the top.
Yeah. So it seems like we've got a good contact anyway now.
That sounds good. Yeah. That gives us something to look forward to through the summer now.
Yeah.
Barry.
One day we'll be back to normal.
Yeah. Barry, you might wonder why we're having difficulty listening to you this evening. But when I look, I think there's two problems. One is that you've got a sound sync problem. So we see your lips moving, and then about a second or two later, the sound comes in. So if we're looking at your face, we're having a job to work out what you're trying to say because the sound isn't tying in with your mouth.
Oh dear.
That's one thing, and the other thing, and it's partly to do with that. You know, if you've got a camera and it's got automatic sound levels on it, if you get a sudden noise, the camera, when it's let's say in a quiet period, the camera amplifies the noise up, And then as soon as a loud noise comes along, it suppresses it for a couple of seconds and lets it come up again. Now, the effect of that is if you hear like a train whistle go off, you just hear the start of it, but you don't hear any more until the train's down the line a bit, and then you've missed the whistle because the camera has squashed the sound.
Oh,
But it can do that with speech. If you've got a system like that when somebody's talking into a microphone, you find that the first 2 or 3 words of every sentence seem to disappear because the microphone squashes the sound and then comes up shortly after. And usually you find tonight, we haven't noticed it other nights, but tonight, most of your sentences, it's difficult to hear the first 2 or 3 words. After that, it's all come in fine. But it's just the first 2 or 3 words, and it's not helped by the sound sync problem with your lips.
Oh dear.
Now, I don't know what one would do with that. I don't know how it's happening.
Well, when I spent 10 whole pounds buying this camera, so it's really expensive equipment we've got here. Amazon.
What's the distance? It's coming from Whitby, isn't it? That's difficult.
It's a long way from Whitby. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
Whaleboats are getting in the way.
Yeah, you'll have to switch satellites, Barry.
I've never noticed it before, Barry. That's the first.
No, it's his first time I've seen it do this.
Oh dear. Well, I know that it's a very poor quality microphone because I know when I speak at Wimborne, nobody can hear me hardly. So what can one do? Go and buy another one, I suppose.
Well, before you do that, we ought to try and loan you something just to see if it's the microphone that's a problem or something else that's a problem.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes,
if we could, I'm sure I've got an odd microphone.
I'll get Dave to lend me his camera and we gotta swap it and see if it works all right.
Yeah,
No, it's hard, isn't it? Because you've got to be in 2 different places to
yeah,
check it.
yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of old microphones, but I find I can't seem to use them with my equipment now because they seem to Windows 8 or Windows 7, Windows 7 seem to home in and find them straight away. But on Windows 10, it doesn't seem to recognize the microphone is there. And if you keep pushing it, it seems to want other information and drivers and all sorts of things, you know, updates. And so they're probably old stock. It's one of the disadvantages of Windows 10. It wants more recent equipment.
I think there are plenty of disadvantages. I've been thrown into it now. I had Windows 10, not from choice, but when I had this new computer, I had to have Windows 10.
Yeah,
and it is more awkward than the other one.
You get used to it though. I mean, I thought I'd be fighting it all the time, but after a couple of months, I didn't know there was any different. You know, I got used to it.
Oh,
but some of the things are different to what you're used to. You find them in different places.
I bought myself this to connect my laptop, and it's got in that end there's sockets for headphones and microphone. So when I'm making a film and wanting sound overs, I just plug that into the computer and it works a treat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Is that on Windows 10?
Is that USB?
Yeah, it's a USB.
USB to adapter, like USB to sound jack. Yeah.
And you got that end there is sockets for headphone and the microphone.
Yeah, 3mm ones. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, it's a good little bit of kit.
Can you remember where you got it from?
I got it online somewhere. It's only
right.
It's only cheap, couple of quid. online somewhere.
That sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we live and learn every day.
I had to get it, this new computer. You see, I've got this laptop, this Dell laptop.
Yeah.
And, I needed something I could get a microphone in and also headphones. And I've got a microphone socket, but not a headphone socket.
Mm.
That does it. You plug it into the computer, into the USB.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea, that.
A bit of kit.
Yeah.
But not I use it much these days, but
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, gentlemen, I'll have to go. I've got an early start tomorrow.
Right, Jim, all right.
Nice to see you, Jim.
Yeah, it's a good evening.
That's
You
good.
enjoyed it?
Yeah, I'll see you 2 weeks, is it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay, see you 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
See you, Jim.
Bye, Jim.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
What's happening in 2 weeks, Colin? Anything special?
It's Pam. Pam's going to do us an evening.
Oh, good. Right.
I think she's
That'll
going
be
to show us
interesting.
some of the films that her and Derek used to make, and yeah, I think she's a bit worried. I think she's a bit worried about it, but I said, you know, she knows us all, doesn't she? So
Yeah.
I'd like to see, she had a copy of the film of the rebuilding of Durlston Castle, which I would very much like to see. You remember a lady came to the club, Max, and gave us a talk about the millions of pounds grant they got to convert Durlston Castle.
I can vaguely remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she had a film of it, you know, before and after, during all the work they did on the castle. It was very interesting. I'd be interesting to see that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll phone Pam up and ask her to put it on.
Yeah.
right.
And Pam did. She went over to Durlston Castle. Whether it was a result of that, but she went with Derek over to Durlston Castle, and she was doing a good narration. That she was walking down the steps towards the Globe, and she was talking to the microphone. I don't know if she had a radio mic or a recorder, but it looked very natural as she was walking down the steps talking about Durlston Castle, just like you see on the TV. I thought that was well done, but that was her own.
Right. Oh, it's an amazing place, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really, they've made a wonderful job of it,
Yes.
considering it was a sort of broken down old dump, and now they've made it into a really nice place to go and visit, with a cafeteria and an exhibition place, and they do concerts there. It's really good now.
Oh right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just changing the subject a bit, I had a phone call from Keith yesterday, and he said yesterday afternoon he'd been walking along Bournemouth Pier, and lo and behold, he said he saw this drone come whizzing over the pier and go about here and there, and then fly inland right over the gardens, and then up past the Bick and so on, and then did another turn and come back over the pier again. And so when it was coming down, he watched where it landed, and he spoke to the chap that was operating it. And they talked drone language between the two of them for a while. And it transpired this chap was, he let Keith see, he flew it again, and he let Keith see the film that it was taking, you know, and Keith said it was brilliant. So he asked the guy if he would sell Keith any footage so that he could include it in his Dorset film. And the guy said, I don't want any money for it. He says, I'll give you the footage anyway. So Keith promised to give him a copy of the finished DVD of All About Dorset, with this chap's film included in it.
Oh,
So, and the chap lived in Winton, funny enough. So I think that's for another pal that they'll probably go off droning between the two of them.
Mm.
Perhaps we can get him to join the club.
Well, you never know. Yeah.
Oh.
Drone section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you meet all sorts of people doing different things. You keep your eyes open.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the eclipse tomorrow, isn't it? 10 o'clock tomorrow morning?
What's that, Colin?
Isn't there an eclipse tomorrow morning?
Oh, I don't know if it's here. Is it one that you can see in this country? I thought they mentioned last week about one, but it was only available to see in New Zealand and South Africa or somewhere.
It says here, stargazers will be treated to a partial solar eclipse over the UK in the morning.
Oh, UK.
Just after 10 a.m, possible to see nearly a third of the sun being blocked out. But obviously, you should go careful about looking up to the sun, shouldn't you? So,
Yeah.
which is known as an annular eclipse.
Yeah.
These only occur every 1 or 2 years when the sun and moon are exactly in line with the Earth. But the apparent size of the moon is smaller than that of the sun. Yeah, I thought there's something about an eclipse, so I was just looking it up.
Now, Colin,
Depends how clear the sky is, I suppose, doesn't it? But,
oh yeah. Well, the forecast was it was going to be cloudy tomorrow and Friday.
I was bound to be, isn't it? If you've got an eclipse.
Warm but cloudy, yeah.
Yeah.
But Colin, have you seen Keith's film of the full eclipse in Greece?
I can't say I have, no.
No, well, we had another member of the club who was interested in astronomy, and this other chap was going to go out with some pals to part of Greece and film the full eclipse. And so Keith went out independently, but he met up with them when he was out there, and they all filmed this. And Keith makes it quite exciting, waiting for this, talking about it, and there's all the people getting all the cameras set up and checking the focusing and checking all sorts of things. And then finally the eclipse does come, and Keith does talk it over with the birds going quiet and everything else, and then it all lightening up again. But that's a nice film. It's not worth watching.
No, I haven't seen that one, no.
While he was there, he did another little tour further along the coast, and some of you might know of it, but there's an area of Greece where there's a lot of inflammable gas which leaks out of the Earth's surface. And it's all alight, so that you get all these flames and that dancing all over the Earth. And Keith filmed that, and that looks really quite spectacular. I thought that was more spectacular than the eclipse. Yeah, but it's good. We can persuade him to show that again sometime.
Yeah,
He'd only be too pleased to show that.
He makes wonderful films, Keith, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he does spend quite a lot of time. I mean, 3 or 4 nights ago, he was over at St Aldham's Head till 2:30 in the morning, and he was filming the Milky Way. And because he said it's about 1.5 mile walk from the car park down this real rough, rocky old track. So of course, when he finished his film, he got this 1.5 mile walk all the way back up this track to the car in the dark. I suppose he used to, don't know if he still has, but he used to have a homemade torch with bigger batteries, which he used to take on mountain treks. It was a bit risky being up a mountain in the dark with a homemade torch, but I thought, well, it's quite risky really, because you quite often can't get a phone contact over there, Have any of you tried to use a mobile phone on the Purbex? Because I know there was an art club meeting over there one day, and 2 or 3 of the artists decided to use a mobile phone, and all they could get was people speaking French. They couldn't get any English speaking at all, and it was the French companies. And then I wondered, I said, well, if you're phoning and you're trying to work out what to do, you could be paying, in those days, there was excessive rates for phoning from France. And I said, you can try and phone your neighbour. If you did it via France, it could cost you a fortune. Yeah, but I mean, if you injured your ankle or something and it was 2:30 in the morning and you couldn't get a phone signal, you'd be a bit stuck, wouldn't you, really? Anyway, he got back to the car, and the car was the only one left in the car park, as you would expect. But I still think the funniest story was 2 or 3 years ago. He was doing some filming over there, and he was having a bit of a rest while the filming was going on, and he was half asleep in the car, parked half on and half off the road on the Purbex, and this other car come quietly creeping round and stopped, and these 2 policemen got out, and one tapped on the window and said, "Are you all right, sir? You know, everything okay?" Keith said, yeah, well, can we ask what you're doing here, sir? You know, and he said, well, I'm filming. Oh, yes. He said, well, where's your camera? So Keith said, oh, well, it's up the hillside. He said, it's a sort of 10-minute walk up there. He said, it's on a tripod and it's taking shots every 30 seconds, and it's on a motorised thing where it's tracking the movement of the earth, so it keeps the stars nice and sharp. They didn't volunteer to go up and check it. They just had a joke with him and moved on. But he said it could have been a dodgy situation, really, just sitting there half asleep in the car when the police turn up.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't think to notify them. He should have put a notice in the windows, you know, danger, sort of filming in progress. Astronomical. What's the name? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's about time that I should say cheerio.
Yeah.
I can hear the cocoa time.
Cocoa time, is it?
Yeah. Definitely.
So I'll say cheerio. Thanks for a nice evening. It's been very enjoyable.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 films tonight. That was pretty good, really.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Excellent. Excellent.
Percentage-wise, very good.
Yeah. That's better than the old days sometimes.
It is. Yeah.
Anyway, cheerio. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll see you in a fortnight's time.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Thank you, Colin.
All right. All the best.
Going to
Yeah.
see you in a
Bye.
fortnight.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, all.